welcome to my next video in my Learning Chess series. In this video we'll be talking about how coordinates are used in chess and how to record your moves. Did you ever think that chess has a language and chess has coordinates? Well, I'm going to be teaching it to you right now. So, here you can see there's an A written. Here, there's a B written. Here, you can see there's a C written. Here, there's a D. Here, there's an E. Here, there's an F. Here, there's a G. And here, there's a H. So we first determine which column the square is in. So if I were to highlight this square, it would be in the D column. So the first letter to describe that square would be D. And now, on the sides, you can see there's a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 written. So, if I go back to the square, it would be called D, because it's on the D column, 6. So this square would be called D6. Let's try again. Let's say we use this square, it would be G and 2. As you can see, this square would be B5, as you can see. Now I'll reset the board. So you can say this rook is on the square A1. This rook is on the square A8, as you can see, and the knight is on the square B1. This knight is B8. This bishop is C8. This bishop is C1. This bishop is C8. This queen starts on D8, not E8, D8, and the white is on D1. The white king is on E1. The black king is on E8. The bishops are on C1 and C8. The knights are on G1 and G8, and the other rooks are on H1 and H8. The pawns are A7, A2, B7, B2, C7, C2, D7, D2, E7, E2, F7, F2, G7, G7, G2, and H7 and A2, H2. Those are where all the pieces start. Remember that the queen starts on D1 and not E1 or 8. And this is how you describe how a piece moves to that square. So if I were to clear the board, and let's say I put a knight here, if I were going to move the knight here, like this, then I would have to say, and let's say I put a rook here. If the rook moves like this, I would say R, because R is the first letter for the rook, and E6, because it's going to E6. So, and if I were to put another rook here, because both of them can go to E6, and I only want this one, I'd say R3 to E6. Not RE to E6, because both of them are on the E column. And the same applies to bishops. If I were to say this bishop is going to B1, because it's in the diagonal, I'd say B1. Now with the queen, I would say, if I want to move it to H6, I'd say Q H6, because Q is the first letter for queen. With the king, I would say K to C6, if I want to move it to C6, because K is the first letter for king. And for pawn, you don't need to say anything. If I were to move it to D6, I would just say D6, because you don't have to say anything for a pawn. But the interesting bit is for knight, because a knight also starts with K, so it might be confusing. But we use the second letter for knight. So if I were to move it to C6, I'd say NC6, because N is the second letter of the knight. Now I'm going to highlight some squares, and you will have to pause the video for a few seconds. And no, you don't have to. I'll wait for 4 or 5 seconds, and you'll have to come up with a hypothesis for what square it might be. So if I were to clear, which square is this? This square is E5. Which square is this? This square is A8. Which square is this? This square is F4. Which square is this? This square is E6. Which square is this? This square is E3. Which square is this? This square is D6. You may be stuck with one more question of how to record the move when you're castling. So I'll reset the board and I'll show you. Castling is an O, then a dash, then an O. I'll just show you by playing some moves. If I were to play this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and let's say black goes here, and white castles, it would be recorded with an O, then a dash, then an O. Like you can see next to the 4, written in the move section, as my arrow or mouse pointer is pointing at. Last video, I forgot to mention that you can castle queenside. So if I were to play some moves for black, this, then this, then black moves all his pieces out of the last row. This, 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 then let's say queen here, then here, then this, let's say pawn here, and queen here. Let's say if white forgets to capture the queen and just goes bishop here, and now black can castle, and he can castle either this way, like I said last time, but he can also castle this way, as I highlight by the arrows. This is the same thing with the same principles and same rules. You can castle when you're not in check, and when there's no and you don't pass through check, and none of those pieces have moved. So if I were to do it, I just castled queenside. The rook always moves 2 squares when castling, but the king always moves 2 squares when castling, but because the rook moved 3 squares this time, it's 3 O's and 2 dashes, as you can see next to the 10. Now I'll play a couple of moves where someone misses a capture, and some moves which are not very smart, so pawn here, then let's say rook over here, pawn up, knight here, pawn up, then pawn here, pawn takes, and let's say rook here, white captures, for example, and black goes rook here, white goes knight here, black captures the bishop with the rook. Now, if white promotes his pawn, as I explained last video, if he promotes to a queen, let's say, then how we would write it is the square it's promoted to, so like the pawn moved there, but then equals, and then the piece it's promoted to, if it's knight n, if it's rook r, if it's bishop b, and if it's queen q, and that's how we would write it. So in this instance, it would be h8 equals q. And because black's king is in check, when you are checking your opponent while doing anything, if you're checking, the plus just comes at the end of the move. So if for example the bishop blocks, it would be bishop e8 and queen takes e8, check. So if I go back and you can see also the computer agrees when annotating that it is h8 equals q, then plus at the end, and after the bishop e8 and queen takes, it's also put plus because it was a check, as you can see. And then one last thing about annotating. After this, let's say black goes knight here, trying to defend his rook, as you can see. White goes knight here. Black goes knight over here. White captures, black captures, and white wants to go for the checkmate, so does not capture the pawn, but instead captures the bishop. Then let's say black does not capture the knight and falls for the checkmate trap and moves his king this way. White can take and black is in checkmate. And how you'd record checkmate is with a hashtag. So I'll show you. So here it's recording queen takes d8 with a hashtag at the end, meaning that black has been checkmated and white has won the game because it's in white's turn. So white checkmated black. Sometimes when people record, they put a question mark next to mistake and an exclamation mark next to a good move, but you don't have to do it for now. Just keep recording the moves and analyzing the games, and if you record the moves, it's a good practice and it'll do good for you when playing. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned how to use coordinates in chess and write your moves. Keep checking for more videos and checkmate, and see you next time.